Good morning. My name is Mike, and today we're going to make a very seasonal and very delicious treat. That treat is sour cherry juice. Let's begin. So first things first, we need to get the cherries somehow. So you can either buy them or you can pick them if you have a garden or an orchard. Now, regardless of which route you go, it's very important to make sure that you get the fruit, the product, at peak ripeness. Otherwise, you're just gonna have to substitute with a lot of sugars. Recently I made a video where I show you how to pick cherries, sour cherries, any cherries properly, so that you don't damage the tree itself and your future harvest. So if you are picking the cherries from your own garden, from your own orchard, give this video a chance first. Watch this video and then go and pick them up. Trust me, it's worth it. Once you picked or bought your sour cherries, you do have the option to pit them out. Now, I personally don't have a cherry, pit removing machine or whatever that's called, and I didn't want to spend the money this year again. So I'm going to spend the precious time at the end of this whole process to remove the pits from the solids, so I can use the solids to make another product like a sour cherry jam or jelly or something like that. Now, for this process to work and to be as simple and as easy as possible, we want to use large pots. Here I'm using two large 10-liter pots. I think that's 2 gallons in the imperial system. Once you have the cherries in the pots, it's time to add the sugar. Now, I'm adding 1 kilo of sugar per 10-liter pot, but that's only because I want to keep the flavor of the sour cherries as present as possible. If you like your juices more sweet and your preserves in general more sweet, you can add more. This, for my palate, for my flavor, this is enough. This is more than enough, especially if you do have the sour cherries picked or bought at peak ripeness. They come with their own sugars, they come with their own sweetness, ingrained sweetness. So I think for the first try, if you're trying this sour cherry juice for the first time, I think go with 1 kilo and no more, because too much sweetness is going to just cover the natural aromas and flavors of this beautiful fruit. Once you added the sugar to the cherries, shake the pot a bit so the sugar percolates down. Cover the pots and leave them alone for 24 hours. Okay, we want that sugar to start squeezing the juice out of the fruits themselves. So in 24 hours, this process is going to create a natural sour cherry syrup that's going to be very important later on. After 24 hours, check on the fruit. We're aiming at 1/4 of the pot filled with this sour cherry syrup. If you don't have that amount of syrup after 24 hours, then leave it for 24 more hours. It all depends on the heat. It all depends on the conditions that you have where you live. If it's very, very hot, then you will get that juice. If it's a bit, let's say if it, in the evening is cooler or in the morning is cooler, then the process is going to slow down. So don't worry if after the first 24 hours you don't get the quantity of syrup that you need. Just leave it for 24 more hours, and that should really get the job done. All that's left to do is to boil them. So now we're going to put them on medium fire and we're going to wait until it starts to boil. From the point when it starts to boil, we're going to time it for 1 hour. So we want them to boil properly for exactly 1 hour. This is the allotted time. While they boil for 1 hour, we want to take advantage of this time and sterilize a couple of jars to make sure that once they're boiled, once they're strained, we can put that juice straight away into the jars and let them cool off in their, let's say, final destination, in their final recipient. After it boiled for an hour, put it on the side for a bit, let it cool off, take the lid off, let the aromas and the flavors perfume your house, because it smells amazing. And once it's at a manageable temperature, you can sift it, making sure that you're not gonna, you know, scald yourself and burn yourself. If you followed my instructions and you have your sanitized jars, now we can straight away take the sour cherry juice, the liquids, and funnel them straight away into the jars and let them cool off properly. We want to let them cool off properly before we handle them further. Now I highly encourage you to can those juices if you want them to last for winter, or I don't know, for a couple of months, even to up to 1 year. Like all of my juices that I make from the variety of fruits that I have here in the garden and berries, they all last for minimum 1 year, but I can them. Now saying that, I'm not gonna teach you or show you how to can, and the reason for that is because it's quite complicated, and more than being complicated, because it's not complicated to learn and to do, but it's complicated because proper canning depends on the altitude that you live on the weather conditions. So I'm not going to do that, but I strongly encourage you learn how to can. There's like basic canning, there's high intensive canning. Just do your homework. A couple of days of online research is going to make you into a pro when it comes to canning. But nevertheless, can the juices if you intend to keep them for longer or a very long period of time. For example, we enjoy them especially at the end of winter, you know, after you're just sick and tired of the whole long winter process, and you are kind of empty of nutrients and vitamins because you're eating primarily meats. I understand with the shops and all of that stuff, we have access to everything, but we prefer to eat as seasonal as possible, and that's why we go through the, you know, time-consuming, hard work process of preserving everything that's in season. Yes, we will eat a big bucket of cherries right now and enjoy them, but at the same time we'll can and preserve and make all kind of jams and juices from everything that grows in the garden and keep it for winter, because that's the right way, we think, you know, that's our opinion. Anyway, now I'm not going to cover it in this video, but there's things to do with the solids, with the, you know, fruit pulp itself and with the pits. From the fruit pulp itself you can make jams and jellies, and from the pits you can make some very delicious liquor, anyway, some kind of alcoholic beverage that tastes like cherry. Pardon my French. That's it for this video. I hope you liked it. I hope it gave you an idea of what to do with sour cherries, because I find myself hearing people that they have a couple of sour cherries or 1 or 2 sour cherries in their garden, and they just don't know what to do because the cherries are sour. And you know, it takes a specific palate to enjoy them. I love them. I don't know if that makes me a sour person, but if you follow this recipe and you add that tiny bit of sugar and you process the fruit itself, you can get a delicious tonic that's gonna be sweet but still have the distinctive, amazing flavor of sour cherries that nothing else has, you know. So like, subscribe, it's free. Don't be stingy with your likes. Share this video with whoever has a sour cherry tree and every year leaves the fruits wilt and be eaten by the birds of the sky because they cannot just be bothered to enjoy them because they're sour or sweet and sour. And I'll see you next time. Take care.